Celtic mythology. Journey through the top 10 mystical realms. 1. Osrai. Osrai are mythical creatures found within British folklore, particularly in regions with Celtic influence, though they are not strictly part of ancient Celtic mythology. These aquatic beings are often described as fairy-like, residing in deep lakes and rivers. Osrai are said to be very beautiful, ethereal, and shy, avoiding contact with humans. They are sometimes depicted as mermaid-like entities, with long hair and a penchant for singing beautiful, enchanting songs. According to legend, Osrai are nocturnal, coming to the surface only at night to bask in the moonlight, which they need to sustain their life. If they are caught or exposed to sunlight, it is believed they will melt away into a puddle of water, leaving nothing but a shimmering trace of their existence behind. The lore surrounding Osrai reflects themes of fragility, beauty, and the elusive nature of encounters with the supernatural in the natural world. 2. Abhartach. Abhartach is a figure from Irish folklore who is often associated with stories of vampirism and is sometimes considered an early influence on vampire legends in Western literature. This character comes from a legend set in what is now Northern Ireland. Abhartach was supposedly a tyrannical chieftain or druid who wielded magical powers and oppressed his people. According to the lore, he was so malevolent that, upon his death, he rose from his grave to drink the blood of his subjects. He was eventually defeated by a hero, often named as Cathan, who sought the advice of a wise druid. The druid advised Cathan that Abhartach must be killed with a sword made from yew wood and then buried upside down to prevent him from rising again. This tale blends elements of horror with the supernatural, illustrating the darker aspects of Celtic folklore and its influence on the Gothic and horror genres. 3. Ankou. Ankou is a figure from Breton mythology, part of the Celtic mythology of Brittany, a region in northwest France. Often described as the personification of death, Ankou is depicted as a tall, skeletal figure clad in a black robe, sometimes with a wide-brimmed hat and carrying a scythe or a wheelbarrow. He is said to collect the souls of the deceased, guiding them from the world of the living to the afterlife. Ankou is not seen as purely malevolent. Rather, he is a somber reminder of mortality, serving a necessary role within the cycle of life and death. Legends depict him as impartial, visiting all regardless of age or status. His appearance is considered an omen of death in Breton folklore. The myth of Ankou reflects the Celtic reverence for the dead and the belief in an afterlife, themes common across Celtic mythologies. 4. Éileann. Éileann, also known as Éileann mac Mijna, is a figure from Irish mythology, particularly associated with the tales of the Fianna and the saga of Finn MacCool, Fionn mac Cumhaill. He is depicted as a malevolent supernatural being from the otherworld, specifically from the magical realm of Mag Mell. Éileann is notorious for playing a hauntingly beautiful music on his harp that could lull the inhabitants of Tara, the seat of the High King of Ireland, into a deep slumber. Utilizing this magical sleep, he would then breathe fire, burning Tara to the ground each year at Samhain. This cycle of destruction continued until he was defeated by the hero Fionn mac Cumhaill. Fionn, using the magical spear of Fiery, which could keep its bearer awake through any enchantment, killed Éileann, thereby ending his annual assault. This deed was one of Fionn's first major heroic acts and solidified his reputation in Irish legend. 5. Balor. Balor is one of the most formidable figures in Irish mythology, specifically within the tales of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the tribe of gods to which he belonged. Known as Balor of the Evil Eye, he was a leader of the Fomorians, a group of demonic beings who opposed the Tuatha Dé Danann. Balor's most terrifying feature was his gigantic eye, which, when opened, unleashed a destructive beam capable of laying waste to anything it gazed upon. According to legend, it was prophesied that Balor would be killed by his grandson. To prevent this, he locked his daughter, Ethlyn, away in a tower. Despite his efforts, the prophecy came true when Lugh, a prominent god of the Tuatha Dé Danann and Balor's grandson, slayed him in the Battle of Mag Tuired. Balor's death symbolized the triumph of light and order over darkness and chaos, a common theme in Celtic mythology. 6. Banshee. The Banshee, from the Irish bean sea, meaning woman of the fairy mounds, is a prominent figure in Irish folklore, with connections to wider Celtic mythology. She is depicted as a spirit or fairy who heralds the death of a family member by wailing, shrieking, or keening. Her appearance varies, with some descriptions portraying her as a beautiful young woman, while others depict her as a frightful hag. This variance symbolizes the multifaceted nature of death itself, both as a natural transition and a source of sorrow. The banshee is believed to be particularly attached to Old Irish families and is seen as a forebearer of death, rather than a direct cause of it. Her mournful cry is not meant to terrify, but rather to lament the impending loss and prepare the family for the grief to come. The banshee's enduring presence in Irish lore reflects deep cultural themes of kinship, respect for the dead, and the acceptance of mortality. 7. Bean Nigh. The Bean Nigh, pronounced as Ban Nay, is a figure from Celtic mythology, particularly from Scottish folklore, though she shares characteristics with the Irish banshee. Known as the washerwoman, or the washer at the fords, she is considered an omen of death. The Bean Nigh is said to be seen by lonely streams or rivers, washing the blood-stained clothes or armor of those who are about to die. Unlike the banshee who wails, the Bean Nigh silently performs her grim task, her appearance forewarning the observer of their impending demise or that of a loved one. Descriptions of her vary, with some tales depicting her as having one nostril, one large tooth, and webbed feet. According to legend, the Bean Nigh is the spirit of a woman who died in childbirth and is doomed to perform this task until the day her life would have naturally ended. Engaging with a Bean Nigh can be perilous, yet if one is brave enough, she may grant 3 wishes or foretell the future in exchange for freeing her from her toil. 8. Befind. Befind, or Bebin, is a lesser-known deity or figure within Irish mythology, whose name is believed to mean fair lady in Old Irish. Her mythological roots are somewhat obscure, and she is associated with several aspects of the ancient Celtic pantheon, including healing, childbirth, and possibly the moon or fertility. In some tales, Befind is mentioned as a goddess or a supernatural being with the power to protect and nurture, echoing the broader Celtic reverence for feminine deities linked to life-giving forces in the earth. The scarcity of detailed stories about Befind in surviving texts leaves her attributes and myths open to interpretation, but she is occasionally referenced in relation to other deities and heroes, suggesting her importance in the pre-Christian Irish belief system. As with many figures in Celtic mythology, Befind's legacy is a blend of historical conjecture and folkloric tradition, symbolizing the interconnectedness of life, health, and the natural world. 9. Bendith Waimamau. The Bendith Waimamau, which translates to blessing of the mothers in Welsh, refers to a group of mythical creatures from Welsh folklore, often equated with the fairies or elves of Celtic mythology. These entities are believed to be the Welsh version of the Irish Aos, a supernatural race akin to fairies or elves. The Bendith Waimamau are known for their ambivalent nature towards humans. They could bestow blessings and good fortune or bring misfortune and steal away children, replacing them with their own changelings, known as crimbles. These fairies were particularly associated with causing mischief and were reputed to live in the invisible realms or hidden places in the Welsh countryside, such as hollows, hills, and ancient mounds. To appease the Bendith Waimamau and avoid their wrath, people would leave offerings, such as milk or butter. Despite their feared aspects, the Bendith Waimamau were also respected and revered, embodying the complex relationship between humans and the supernatural in Celtic belief systems. 10. Boggart. A boggart is a household spirit from English folklore, closely related to Celtic mythology through the common cultural heritage of the British Isles. Boggarts are mischievous and sometimes malevolent entities that reside within homes or occupy nearby natural features like woods or fields. They are known for their shape-shifting abilities, allowing them to take various forms to scare or trick humans. The nature of a boggart is to cause trouble. They might hide household items, make eerie noises at night, or even physically torment the inhabitants of a home with pinches and pushes. Despite their fondness for mischief, boggarts are not considered purely evil. Their behavior is more akin to playful malevolence, seeking attention or expressing displeasure with the household. To prevent a boggart from moving in or to appease one already present, people would leave small offerings or perform rituals. However, once a boggart becomes attached to a family or home, it is nearly impossible to rid of it, and the best strategy is to coexist peacefully. Celtic mythology encompasses the rich tapestry of myths and legends that originated from the ancient Celtic peoples of Western Europe. It is a diverse collection of tales that includes gods and goddesses, heroic deeds, and otherworldly realms. These stories were deeply ingrained in the cultural fabric of Celtic societies, which spanned across Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and parts of France and England. Central to Celtic mythology are the Tuatha Dé Danann, a group of deities who embody various aspects of the natural world and human experience. The mythology also features an array of heroes such as Cuchulainn Elaine and King Arthur, whose exploits blend historical events with magical elements. The Celts revered the natural world, and this reverence is reflected in their myths, which often emphasize the interconnectedness of all living things and the cycle of life and death. Through oral tradition and later written compilations, Celtic mythology has preserved a rich heritage of folklore, influencing literature, art, and modern pagan practices.
For more videos like these, please like, share and subscribe, and please press the bell icon.